Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the channel Shelly's Millions, where we go live every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. to talk about finance and budget topics, largely controlled by what you ask to talk about in the chat. So leave a comment. Let me know what you guys want to talk about this morning. Today is the Super Bowl. I don't know which one, the one where Taylor Swift is dating the guy who plays football. I know that the 49ers are playing the Chiefs. Um, so probably a lot of you are off watching the Super Bowl today. For those of you who don't know, my regular job is managing a movie theater, and today is one of the slowest days for us. The other slow day for a movie theater is the day of the Oscars, at least here in Los Angeles, that's the case. So I know someone's going to ask me what the number one movies were this week. So I'll bring out the little green guy, as Debbie likes to call him. The number one movie this week was a film called Origins. I haven't seen it, but that's the one that's doing the best right now at my theater. Poor Things is still doing well. And again, I love that movie, but I wouldn't see it with family members. Your peers, significant other, yes. Family members, no. Then we have a movie called American Fiction. That one's great, I think, for almost everybody. The new movie this week was one called Lisa Frankenstein, which that's right up my alley. It's kind of like a love story, but it's kind of like horror. So I think that'll be fun for Valentine's Day. And then it hasn't opened yet, but coming this Wednesday, we're going to have Madam Web. So that's what's up with the movies this week. And if you are somebody, if you're not into the Super Bowl, but you also don't like crowds at movie theaters, but you've been still kind of hesitant on coming back, Super Bowl Sunday is a great day to go see a movie. As a matter of fact, I probably need to call my old boss. That's when he used to always go and catch up on films because he doesn't like crowds. So he would come to the movies on Super Bowl Sunday. All right. You guys, if you watch the channel, you'll know I have not placed any wagers on the Super Bowl, but I am a California girl, and so I'm gonna root for the 49ers. So they're San Francisco team, right? Although I will say that I think Patrick Mahomes, I think he's cute. But he's married. So the Chiefs can go ahead and lose in the Super Bowl. So no predictions or anything from Shelly's Millions. As a matter of fact, if you do bet with your friends, make it a friendly wager of who has to clean up after the Super Bowl party or something that does not involve the potential for losing any money. All right. So guys, let me know in the comments what are your plans for today? Are you guys going to watch the Super Bowl? I kind of want to talk about, like the cost of the Super Bowl commercials, maybe. I don't exactly know. I will say that even though I am not like a huge Super Bowl fan, I am a fan of, I do like the commercials. And it blows my mind how much they spend on those commercials. And I was actually just wondering if Mint Mobile is going to do a commercial. I don't know if you guys remember, but I switched to Mint Mobile right before I went on my vacation because I was looking to save money. Now, I had a trial, and I want to say it was $45 for the first 3 months. But then because I paid with because I launched it with Rakuten, which is linked below, I saved $5. So that brought it down to 40. And then I had another promotion with my American Express, which saved me $15. And so that brought it down to $25 for the first 3 months. But then you end up paying for the whole year in advance. So I just paid $360, but now my cell phone bill is paid for the entire rest of 2024, and I don't have to worry about that hitting again. And I'm still really liking Mint Mobile. I have not noticed a difference at all in my cell phone. I still haven't really tested the cell phone service at my mom's house, which is what we were worried about. And the reason why I haven't told you guys this, my mom recently decided to save $25. I see my mom and like stay with her, not like overnight or anything, but like I visit her where I would be parked there for a long time, maybe once a month. And we recently let go of I used to have my own parking spot when I went there. So my mom has a 3-bedroom trailer, but we were paying, and so one parking spot comes with the space, but then to keep my parking spot, we were paying an extra $25 a month, and we finally decided that that wasn't worth it anymore. Okay, I'm gonna do Sylvia's comment because it just popped up, and then Rocky, I'll get back to yours. Also, I need to like, this is off center for me, but it's like on center. I just need to move the Shelley's Millions thing because this is where I like to sit, and it blocks. Now it's just Helly's Millions. I don't want to be Helly's Millions. I want to be Shelley's Millions, but I also don't want to like get a crick in my neck because I got it. Anyway, I just need to move the sign over. That's what I need to do. Sylvia said that she worked this morning at the supermarket. It's crowded for the Super Bowl and everybody's looking for salsa. I just saw a meme about sending a guy to the supermarket, like on Instacart or something. I don't frequently use Instacart. I don't like anything that upcharges, right? So I don't like, but it's sometimes I struggle with this. Here's the kind of financial dilemmas that go on in my mind. I recently heard Graham Stephan kind of frequently says, like, if you're using your time to be productive. So if I go on Uber Eats and I order food to be delivered to my house, and let's say it costs $30, which that's a lot of money to have $30 worth of food Uber sent to your house. But if I was using that time to do something productive where I could make money, like let's say that I spent $30 to get the food delivery to my house because I wasn't cooking, but I used the time that I wasn't cooking to make a video. And that video could make me more than $30, that then it would be worth it to get the Uber Eats because like time equals money, basically, right? So sometimes I struggle with this, but I find when I use Uber Eats, I spend way too much time like scrolling the different places, then figuring out what I want from the different places. Same with Instacart, right? It like, even if it's a store that I'm familiar with, I feel like it takes too much time to like decide that I'm going to use Instacart and then like get the order and then have it shipped to my house. And then sometimes they're out of things. So maybe I'm looking at my phone more, making sure that like I'm looking in case my Instacart person needs to ask me if we need to make a substitution. And that's where I was going with this, is that I saw like a little TikTok or something that said that the Instacart workers will be crazy and they'll be like, they were just out of salsa. Now the supermarket might be out of salsa today on Super Bowl Sunday, but in general, you're going to be able to find salsa. And guys, like there's the salsa that's not in the refrigerated section, and then there's the salsa that is in the refrigerated section. And then where I live, there's like some really good like local grocery stores, and they'll have the salsa actually in the back, like in bulk, and you can order it by like a pound, half pound, I think, like quarter pound, back like by the meat section. So in the refrigerated section, in like the dry goods section, and possibly like with the meats so that you can order it in bulk. And also like salsa is pretty easy to make. I've recently, one of the things that I'm doing to watch my budget is I've started walking to my local grocery store again. Hi, Heidi. Good morning. Oh, it's been such a I haven't seen you in a long time. Heidi, we should hang out. Heidi and I used to work together at the movie theater that closed, and she and I both like Tiki Drinks. Drinking's another thing though that like I think cost a lot of money, but every once in a while to get together with friends and like maintain friendships, I think it's okay. I just am not allowing myself. I bought one tiki mug and it was expensive, and so I don't think I'll be doing that again. As a matter of fact, I was just looking to see how much my tiki mug will sell for on eBay, because like buying one tiki mug leads to buying more tiki mugs. Anyway, Heidi, we should get together. It's lovely to see you this morning. Are you working today? I'm going to go to work a little bit later. Okay. So, I've gotten back into, like, walking to the grocery store. It's about a 15-minute walk for me. Um, and so then I'm saving money on gas. Like, yesterday, I got a whole watermelon, and I just brought a backpack so that I could put the watermelon in the backpack while I walked back. And, I really like getting, like, my fresh produce and everything. Just I like picking it out myself. I don't like sending someone else to do it. So I'm not, like, a huge fan of Instacart between all the substitutions they make and then not knowing, like, what they're gonna be out of and the upcharge and everything. So I've taken to walking to the grocery store again, and salsa's really easy to make. I like onions, tomatoes, garlic, a little bit of lime juice. And honestly, I think that's it, right? That would be okay. So yeah, that's what I like in mine, like a really like chunky salsa. Um, and you can kind of do all that, but then like add avocado to make guacamole. And then I like salt, pepper, and a little bit of vinegar in my guacamole. All right. Okay. Rocky says, which fast? Okay. This is actually great, and I was wanting to talk about this morning as well. Rocky says, "Which fast food businesses are going to that $20 fast food minimum wage in April? I know McDonald's, but which others?" Okay, so it's defined as so it has to be fast food. So it's not gonna be like your Denny's or your IHOP because those aren't considered, fast food. And it's also not gonna be like, I don't think it would be like a Baskin Robbins, which only serves ice cream, or a Yogurtland, or places like that. I think Panera Bread is excluded, something about them being classified as a bakery and not a restaurant. Now, I think Chipotle is going to have to go up. Anything that's primarily fast food is going to be uh, covered, but they also need to have more than 60 locations nationwide. So that's going to be um, Wendy's, Burger King, Taco Bell, Del Taco. I would imagine like Kentucky Fried Chicken. What are the other ones? Okay, I did the Yum brands, right? Yum Taco Bell's my favorite. So Taco Bell, KFC, Pizza Hut. I think it would be considered fast food because I know Pizza Hut was talking about how they're going to cut the delivery drivers, so I would imagine, like, and if Pizza Hut is considered fast food, then I'm gonna imagine it's gonna be all of the fast food, pizza chains, which would be, like, Little Caesars, Papa John's, Domino's. Little Caesars, Papa John's, Domino's, Pizza Hut. Um, so anything can Subway. Anything that's considered fast food, so probably also I'm gonna say like a Wingstop, where it's not like sit down and dine in, where it's mostly designed to be, like, taken out. Those are the restaurants where it's gonna be, and there's probably gonna be some pushback. Like I just mentioned Wingstop. So but Wingstop, you could sit down, but still, like, Wingstop, they're gonna give you a number, they call the number, and you go and, like, you pick it up, and then you sit down, and most of the people that I know that get Wingstop, they are treating it like fast food where they're ordering it, and then they're picking it up, and they're taking it away. But maybe a Wingstop will try and argue that it's more like a Denny's or more like an IHOP, and those restaurants aren't going to have to pay the $20 minimum wage an hour because they're not fast food. Denny's and IHOP are definitely like sit down. So, kind of in my mind, what the distinguishing factor is going to be is like, is there a waitress or a waiter that is bringing the food to your table. And that's kind of the distinguishing factor. And then there's some like outliers like Panera Bread that for whatever reason aren't going to be considered. And then there's stuff like what a Dunkin' Donuts. Like, so are they considering like ice cream and desserts and pastries? Are those gonna be considered fast food? And so there may be some questions around that. There may be some questions around, like, is Wingstop considered fast food, or is that considered, like, sit-down dining? So, uh, also, guys, I was reading an article last night, I will see if I can try and find it, where they're basically saying, like what I've been saying all along, which is that this is gonna kinda backfire. That, like, let's say that a McDonald's Chipotle, I believe, is also going to be encompassed in that, and I would put, like, Chipotle and Wingstop kind of in the same kind of, category where it's a worker and they're helping you throughout getting the order, but, like, at the end of the day, they're, like, handing it to you at the cash register and you're taking it away yourself. Like, you're not once you get your food, you're not interacting with, like, an employee, and maybe that's something else that the restaurants will try and do. Like, maybe they'll try and reclassify themselves so that they're not considered fast food. So maybe it would make more sense if they somehow hired, like, one waiter or waitress. I'm not quite sure how they're gonna determine that, and I bet they're not either. Although I'm sure, like, some of the chains and things are starting to think about that. Um, yeah. Oh, and then Rocky was asking me if I still like Mint Mobile. I definitely do still like Mint Mobile. It was a wallop though when I had to pay that whole 360, but that's for the whole year. And my cell phone bill, like, was literally, I wanna say $81. So, I just paid I'm gonna divide 360 divided by 81, like, that's 4.44444. So, literally, I paid for a whole year's worth of cell phone service, what I was previously paying for just 4.444 months. So, yes, I still like them. Okay, so that article about the fast food, let me see if I can find that. It's basically saying that like a McDonald's that previously had 5 employees, that now it's very likely because of that minimum wage increase that they will cut down from 5 employees, like, down to 2 or 3. So, these fast food chains are going to be even if they don't, like, replace it with robots, which that's another thing that could happen, more automation, right? And it doesn't necessarily need to be a robot at the fry machine, which is my favorite, like, analogy, but it could be more kiosks and things like that taking the order. Like, voice recognition, I think, is getting really good, right? So maybe they take away the drive-through attendant that's taking your order. Um, Maybe they won't take cash at the drive-through window. Like, maybe somehow, like, I don't know. But they're gonna be looking for less people to be doing more work. So it may actually create less jobs. And then they're also gonna be raising the prices on the consumer. The article I read yesterday said that they'll be raising prices on fast food about 8 to 10% to cover the increase in the cost of labor. So, and this is what I've always said, and this is the problem that needs addressed. The people at the top make, and I'm not talking about like the managers in the stores, right? Because in the grand scheme of things, those people may be making more than the employees, but they're not the people at the top. When I say the top, I mean like whoever's sitting at the board meetings, like deciding how much they're going to pay to shareholders, like the CEO, the president, the vice president, the chief financial officer, the people who are not like in the individual stores, but who are like emailing the people about the price increases. Those are the people at the very top, they need to take less money, right? But like at some point, I would love it if in the course of my career, if I moved up to the corporate office, I would love to be the CEO or the vice president or the operations manager, right? I would love to be in a really high level position. But I'm just being honest, right? All people, they often experience lifestyle creep, right? Lifestyle creep is when you get a better job and then all of a sudden you buy a Tesla and you upgrade your car. Maybe you want a bigger house. You want like the when I have people visit, right? I definitely IRS, if you're in the chat, definitely only use this for recording. But every once in a while, that couch that I used to sit and record on, it's a bed, right? I'm gonna pan over here. It's because it's all kind of set up like a bed right now. It's not a made bed, but a bed. But I definitely just I only use that for recording. But anyway, like maybe I upgrade the bed to be like one of those purple beds or something like that, right? So everybody has lifestyle creep. And my point is that like even if I made it to be one of the top executives at the company where I'm at, which I would want to do, every year, every single year, I would want a raise. And I am not sure if some of these people at the top, if they're really innovators and if they're really earning a pay increase. But my point being that like the people at the top, the very tippy top in those corporate level positions, those senior titles, they need to make less in order but they don't want to, right? They don't want to. So what they're going to do, because nobody once you're making, let's even call it a moderate amount of money, like $100,000, but that's still a lot of money. But once I'm making $100,000, I don't want to make 90, I don't want to make less the next year. I don't want to make 90,000 the next year. So if now, right, my money in, so if I want to make more money, if I have the same pool of money, right? I can't have the same pool of money and also like have my pay raise and raise the wages of the other people. What I really think needs to happen is those people at the top do need to take some wage freezes or pay cuts. And I think for the most part, like the people at the tippy top could probably afford to, even if they like emotionally and mentally didn't want to. I I would hope that they've managed their money and their choices well enough that they could afford to make less, even if they didn't want to. But they're not going to make less, and they're probably not going to have wage freezes either. So what they're probably going to do so that they can keep getting their raises is they'll cut the amount of people working in the stores so that they're still, within their payroll budget for the year, whatever that may be, and they're going to pass the cost on to the consumer. And it is getting so high that people are complaining and they're like, we don't want to pay this much for our our value meals. And a lot of times, like, companies have something like it's called a loss leader, right? Loss, LOSS leader. Costco has it with their hot dogs and their rotisserie chickens. So they want to get you in because you want that $1.50 hot dog and soda combo. They want to get you in with that $5 rotisserie chicken because they know that's not all you're going to buy. However, let's say that the dollar menu at McDonald's is their loss leader. At some point, the meals become too expensive for regular people like you and me to go and buy like the Big Mac meal, which is not on the dollar menu, and we switch over to those loss leaders on the value menu. And instead of buying like the pre-curated combo of like a medium drink, a medium fry, and a Big Mac, we're buying the double cheeseburger, whatever, we're using our app to get the dollar value fries, and maybe we're ordering water instead. So that's what people are going to do. And they're saying that even though, so about the fast food restaurants and who needs to pay it and who doesn't, they're saying that smaller chains, like there's a chain that I like called Tops. Ooh, there's also one called The Hat. So Tops and The Hat. I don't think that The Hat, even though it has some locations, I would say that probably has about 12 locations in California. And I don't think that they're in states outside of California. So, um, what was my point? I was talking about The Hat. Oh, they wouldn't have to pay the $20 minimum wage, but one, it's going to be harder for them to find employees. And two, like if everybody's increasing their cost and everybody's just looking for the most affordable items, they might not be able to afford to stay in business if people are only coming in for the cheapest of the cheap things. I'm going to take a sip of coffee. You guys know that means to take the opportunity to like the video, and then I'll get right back into your comments. Okay. Sylvia says, I like paying cash to a cashier person. It makes it all feel real. Yeah, and there's a lot of, I'm kind of the opposite, right? I like my mom and I, even when we go out, I like paying with credit card, and my mom will give me the cash that she was going to spend on the meal. And I do that because I'm trying to like credit card churn, and like I'm trying to get the maximum value for my credit card points. I'm going to go see Stevie Nicks play in New Orleans at the end of this month, and I booked all my plane travel with points. I don't know if I got the best value of points, but what I will say is like I am the type of credit card user where I'm not necessarily concerned with, oh, did I get the best value for my points? What I think about is, was I going to buy this anyway? And if I was going to buy something anyway, which card can I get the most points for by using? And then that way, whatever I use my points on will be a good value because I pay off my balance in full, and I just, I'm racking up those points, and I want to use them. All right. Does that make sense? Okay. Pinky says, maybe the food quality will be more consistent if a robot cooks it. Yeah, absolutely. It definitely would. And Pinky, I'm not sure if you've been in here when we've talked about this before, but if businesses can replace their cooking elements with robots, robots don't need to be given breaks, right? So a robot can work 72 hours. I don't know, maybe a robot would overheat or something if you kept it like working that long, or maybe its battery needs recharged or something. But like you don't have to worry about like labor code and violation in terms of a robot. A robot is not going to become permanently injured on the workplace if it burns its little robot hand in the fryer. It's not going to be like a multi-million-dollar lawsuit. You'd probably have to toss that batch of oil and that batch of fries. Maybe your whole fryer would go down for a few days if your robot's metal melted into the fryer. But all of that is probably still cheaper than than paying like a workers' comp claim. So yeah, you buy the robot once and then that's it. And it should, if like robots get good enough, it should and like make the food be consistent and taste good every time. Versus we used to have, I think I've told this story before, at my old theater, they used to make pizzas. And like we'd have some people, we also had red pepper flakes. That was not part of the recipe. And like we had employees that would like be trying to put the red pepper flakes onto entire pizzas, and hopefully I caught them every time. But like basically they would be like, well, it doesn't taste good like this, so we're going to make it like that. Like, no, you can't do that. Like we have to put it exactly how we're listing it to the guest. Otherwise, like somebody could have an allergy, somebody could have a dietary restriction. But like when you're managing people, that's one of the things that you're managing. Just please make it to the recipe, guys. Okay, anyway, Pinky says, I wouldn't be surprised if the trend was to have people order via apps and picking it up. No cashiers needed, no people taking orders needed. Yeah, they could also really, really push people towards doing that. Pinky also says, I prefer to interact with actual human beings, but what are you going to do? Yeah, and even like where I work, we have kiosks where you can buy your movie ticket, but honestly, it's better for everybody if the guest just buy the ticket from an actual employee. It's weird because like movie theaters, a lot of times now you buy your ticket from the concession stand, but that's like the cashier, like we can tell you about like, oh, today is this day and you get a discount on your ticket, or are you a loyalty member? Because if so, it's going to make your ticket like be less money. So really interacting with the employees, we can often like get you the most bang for your buck also. Okay, Rocky says, oh, I talked to a fast food manager from McDonald's. She was saying tons of people are applying, but they're fully staffed. Yeah, and that's tricky too. So we've had a lot of I want to murder them. Can you tell by my face that I literally okay, I didn't want to murder anybody YouTube, but definitely like I was alarmed and I could not believe the day when I had to go in and manage the people from customizing the recipe. I will say that they swore up and down that that was just for their personal order that they were going to be paying for. But like I was alarmed when I went in there and I was like, what is going on? That doesn't go on the pizza. And they're like, Shelly, this is like a pizza that we're making for ourselves, which they're also not supposed to do until they pay for it. But whatever. They paid for it. And like I don't think we harmed anybody, but I was alarmed. A robot is probably not gonna a robot's not going to eat any food, so I don't have to worry about whether the robot would be telling me the truth about only customizing a pizza for their personal order or not. Ah, okay. And then Rocky says it's harder to get a job at fast food because tons of applicants are trying to get that new wage. Yeah, and you guys have heard me talk about it. Like I like a good side hustle. I think we did the math. My friend was here, and they do YouTube too. This is their to-do list. I'm gonna read you their secret to-do list. Election videos USA. I don't know what that says. 2J. That might be a different language. Reading the book plain. Reading the book plain. Reading the book plan. We don't know. Introduction to the podcast. Show the photos of old Cyprus. Asking Chat GPT how to get elected. My friend from Cyprus, who was in town last week for the Apple Vision Pro, that was their to-do list, and they are running for government in their country of Cyprus. So they're investigating that. Okay, so we're going to do the math on the $20 minimum wage. All right, so also, do you want to see how it's costing? Rocky, I don't think you were in here, so let's do this. I don't think you were in here when we were talking about what it cost last year versus this year. So in 2023, that was last year, minimum wage equaled $15.50. It's already gone up. In 2024, it is already, that's going to be the same. It already equals 16. So that's already up 50 cents. And then in April, for fast food, it's going to equal $20. So this didn't just go up $4 an hour. It's gone up $14.50 an hour. So, on a 40 hours a week, Now, I will say that most places you're not going to be working 40 hours a week anyway because like of your breaks and stuff. So it would be less in most cases. Sorry, I'm looking for my little calculator. Oh no, I lost you guys. What did I just do? Okay, hold on. Oops. All right. Okay, 40 hours a week times $20 an hour. 40 times 20. Doesn't sound right. 40 times 20 equals $800 a week. So we got to do times 20. We'll do the equals down here. So that's $800 a week times 52 weeks a year times 52 weeks a year. This would equal $41,600. Okay. So that's what it's going to cost a company this year to pay someone $20 an hour. Let me redo the math. 20 times 40 is 800 times 52 equals 41,600 versus last year. Okay. 40 times 1550. 40 times 1550 equals 620 times 52. $32,240. So that is a difference of 41,600 minus 32,240. So that's a difference of $9,360 a year per full-time employee. More. So that's a lot more money, like $10,000 a year. Like if somebody gave me a $10,000 a year raise, I would be so happy about that. But that's what it's costing that's what it will cost an employer more in 2024 to pay somebody the fast food minimum wage. So, but then like we have costs are going up. So I also did this, like utilities for businesses are going up. Oftentimes I've been reading about commercial real estate like being problematic right now, which like that doesn't surprise me. Rocky, I would love actually to be a math teacher. I really like math. I like numbers and I like money and I like dollar signs. I like those dollar signs. This though, like, so basically, like, and that's just for one employee, right? So, and I know that not every business, they're not going to have like full-time employees like this, but if you did have 10 employees who were getting 40 hours a week, then you'll drop your phone on your floor during the middle of your live. So let's say we had 10 employees doing this. That's going to be 93,600. And no, I'm not a genius. My mom just taught me that like, so times 10, we're just adding a zero to that number. But that's almost $100,000 more if you had 10 full-time employees that are getting that pay increase. And then the worst thing about it, they're also talking about removing perks for the employees. So for example, Heidi and I both still work at movie theaters. We get free popcorn. We get free movies. They're talking about taking away those perks as a way to bring the money back into the system, basically. Okay, let's see here. Okay, Rocky says, It won't that hurt the employees with the new wage on their taxes or health benefits if they get from the state, like medical insurance because of the pay? Yes. Absolutely. So hurt them on their taxes. Jenny Silver actually has a really interesting perspective on this, right? Um, Basically, if you're the more you earn per year, yes, potentially you might be paying more in taxes, but the more you earn, the higher like your social security check will be when you're older. So that can actually by earning more now, it can actually benefit you when you're older in terms of like how much you get in your social security check. Sorry, I gotta something's wrong with my eye. Ugh. Okay, sorry about that. I feel like it's not okay, but anyway, um, the more you earn now, the higher your social security amount might be when you're a little bit older. So that's a good thing. Also, keep in mind there's still going to be like the standard deduction. Like that amount right there is not enough. Let's see if I can grab my phone. That amount. Oh, let's actually, why am I doing this? I need to share my screen with you guys for the last 20 minutes. So let me burn through these questions and then we'll move that up. Ultimately, in terms of taxes, I think it's going to be good. And I don't think it'll really affect people that much. I don't think that difference is going to bump people up into a different tax bracket, this 41,000 versus 32,000. And I will show you why in a second. I think that's going to make people have an effective tax rate of about 12%. So I think they'll still be in the 12% range as long as that's their only source of income. So I think that will be okay. But you do have a point on the buy-up plans and things. Not buy-up plans, but covered California health insurance. And my PS guys, my health insurance went up this year, which sucks. That's the way things go. And I'm not getting a raise this year, I don't think. So no raise. It's okay. I understand. And I am like one of the top paid people in my building, but I would love a raise because like my health insurance just went up. Health insurance went up, fast food's going up, groceries are expensive, even though I'm walking to the local grocery store to get them. Like I want that more money. All right. Common Sense just sent me a credit card emoji. Love that. I love credit cards. As long as you use them responsibly and to like maximize your points. Math, I love math. I would love to do that. Okay. But that's still tons of money. That's why prices at the drive-through are ridiculous. Yeah. And you're saying that the manager said hours will be reduced for employees because of the $20 minimum wage. Yeah, I absolutely think that. Okay. Now let's share our screen here. No, I don't have another. Do I have another tab open? Yes. I think it's the video details. So this is my little YouTube thing, which is not what I mean to share, but how covered California. Oh, price increases. Well, let's look at that. Okay, covered California price increases. I should probably do a video about this, right? Oh, this isn't necessarily talking about the difference in cost. You know what? Okay, we're going to read through this really quick and then we're going to talk about the tax rates. Okay, 2024 covered California rate changes are out. Some covered California enrollees will see their health plan cost increase in 2024, while others won't experience any changes. Read below to learn about the expected rate changes. What are the new rates? A health plan rate refers to your plan's cost, the premium you pay each month. The average health plan rate will increase by 9.6% in 2024. However, this is just an average and rates vary significantly by region and insurance provider. I don't think mine increased that much, but that sucks. So that's almost 10%. And like like most companies, I'm gonna say, even like when you get a raise, it's usually like a 3% raise. So just like your health insurance alone going up that much sucks. Now that wouldn't be your total raise, but like that's a lot. It's a lot. Okay. For instance, Imperial, Inyo, and Mono counties will see an average of 15.8 increase in covered California plant cost. By contrast, Napa, Sonoma, Marin, and Solano counties will see a 6.5% increase. Rates vary by provider. Blue Shield of California will have the highest average increase of 15%, while Aetna, CVS Health will see the lowest average increase of 0.2%. CVS Health? Okay, don't know. We'll look into that later. This is another video day. Why are the premiums going up? Inflation, labor shortages, wage increases, increased demand for healthcare services, and higher medication cost. I would just like to say that, like, some of you guys know that it's so interesting because my mom, she said she's never been to physical therapy before. She went for the first time like a couple weeks ago. It seems like I go. Like my shoulder is bothering me. Like it hurts like want to raise it. Like when I get now it's not gonna do it. When I get to like here, it hurts here. I don't know what that is, but it hurts. I think I've been sleeping on it wrong. So I'm probably gonna go to physical therapy for that. But today is February 11th. The place where I normally go for physical therapy, they booked the entire month of March on February 1st. So I probably wouldn't even be able to get a physical therapy appointment until March 1st. That's not when I could go. That's when I could make an appointment for April. And at this point, so like April's 6 weeks away. So now I just like suffer with shoulder pain for 6 weeks because I can't get an appointment. So yeah, definitely there's labor shortage in the healthcare industry. Um I know, Rocky, I know. Would you want more lives even if I couldn't plan them in advance? Like if I just popped on randomly? I'm thinking about that. Have I heard that rents are going down a bit for those who can afford to rent luxury properties because the wealthy are out here just struggling? I have heard that rents are going down. They're having trouble like filling these vacant properties. Also, you guys, I am curious what you guys thought about I think a lot of you guys are in Southern California. We just had like a bunch of graffiti on one of the downtown LA like skyscrapers, but apparently the skyscraper has been vacant since 2019. And so they weren't doing anything with it. It's not like it's vacant. It's a vacant property. Somehow, like all these graffiti artists, they coordinated, and on like this one night, they all went, and like the next morning, like every floor of the skyscraper was tagged. You guys can probably tell from like my face. Like I respect at least like how they had to coordinate to come together to make that happen. And I kind of think it's cool. At least it's like a talking point. And it brings attention to like the fact apparently they had invested $1.5 billion into the property, and it's going to need another 1.5 billion to be complete. And so nobody's trying to like invest that in downtown LA, but there's this huge skyscraper that could in theory be like used for affordable housing, and it's not. It's just sitting there vacant. So I don't know. I think it's kind of cool, at least how they coordinate it. With graffiti, I always have trouble like reading what it's supposed to say. Not always, but a lot of times, like I have trouble like reading it. Like the way they write it is beautiful, but I can't make out what it says. I'm just being honest there. But I like the color patterns, and somebody did all these pandas on like every floor, and I like the pandas. Anyway, do you guys think it's art, or do you guys think that's defacing like a $1.5 billion investment? I think at least it's a talking point to bring people's attention to the fact that there's a $1.5 billion building just sitting vacant. Okay. Rocky says, oops. Meanwhile, oh no, this is Pinky. Meanwhile, lower middle income renters are getting priced out of the places they're already living in. Yeah, and that really sucks, basically. You guys have heard me say this before. I think if first of all, there needs to be a way, especially for seniors. Like how I don't know what the answer is, but like how heartless do you have to be to kick out somebody that's like 83 on like a limited income and just be like, "Well, I'm going to charge market rent for that." Like no. Let's please take care of our elderly. Rocky's saying that his doctor's appointments are 3 months out. Yeah, I wanna say, okay, I got the girls examined, right? Like you're supposed to do every year, and, the girls are good, by the way. The place that I like to go, it's like the Susan K. Keck Foundation or something in Santa Monica. It's a good facility. I mean, they probably all are, but, like, this one's good. I wanna say it was 6 months just to get that. It's like, okay, well, what if something was wrong? Like, aren't you supposed to, like, go annually? Like, but I couldn't go annually because I was like, "Oh, I'll make the appointment for, like, next week or 2 weeks out or 3 weeks out." No, I'm making it for 6 months out. That reminds me, it's probably time to make that appointment again right now because I think I went in September. So it's time to at least make the appointment since that's 6 months out. Oops. Okay, random freeform lives. I'm down. We'll try it, maybe. Okay. The Beijing developer, that's the guy that put the 1.5 billion and then he just abandoned the whole project. It's so crazy to me. All right. And then Pinky says, I don't understand why the city hasn't been discussing making that affordable housing. You know, sometimes like it sucks, right? This shouldn't have to be on us. Like we should have like the city developer or whoever like looking into that and like there should be like some sort of clause in there, right? On the one hand, everybody's like, "Oh, California is so litigious. Like we make everything like be this big like legal process." But I think maybe there needs to be a clause that if you leave a project vacant for X number of months, years, that like then the property becomes the city's and they can use it for affordable housing. I think maybe like so I think there needs to be clauses in like the construction permits that make that be a thing. Then that would do two things. One, because like a lot of residents are like, oh no, we don't want affordable housing in our community. But it would force at least the residents to like be on top of the developers, like to be more involved in the process. And I think getting people more involved in their I don't know how I feel about more like laws, right? But I do think that getting people more involved in their communities ultimately is going to be a good thing. So, one, if the residents of the community didn't want affordable housing to go up, then they could stay on top of the developers to be like, hey, like push that project through. Or like the people can then, and like we could do this now, we can all write to our assembly members who helped us so much with our unemployment claims and EDD and be like, hey, like that graffiti really brought attention to the fact that we need to do something with this vacant building. Like, you guys need to take it over. But yeah, I read the same thing. We should do a whole like short live on this, maybe sometime throughout the week, that the developer ran out of money and just abandoned it. Doesn't even appear that he tried to sell the project. I don't know if he tried to sell it or not, but I also read that he put $1.5 billion into that downtown LA skyscraper that's got the graffiti on it and just abandoned it. Like, can you imagine having so much money? That's like Uh, somewhere in here, I've got, um, I don't know. I don't have a good example. I have, but somewhere I have like a canvas that I had started painting. I'm not a painter. I just thought it would be fun, right? And I abandoned that because I was like, oh, I'm not a very good painter. So I painted like half of it. And then I thought, no, I'm not going to finish that. But that canvas was like maybe $5, right? So I could afford $5. A billion, $1.5 billion. Okay, Rocky's saying the billionaire should should give it to me, Shelly, the new Shelly's Millions offices. I don't need an office that big. I don't want to clean an office that big. I don't like heights, right? If I would have, I'm not a graffiti artist either, but if I would be like, I'd be like, hey guys, I need to do like the lower floor. Like, I don't know what part of that building is not finished, but I'm not trying to go up the higher levels. And that's the other thing too, like who has $1.5 billion to complete the project? Because that's what I read. I read that they had put 1.5 billion into it. I read the same thing you did, that they abandoned it, and then that it would take another $1.5 billion to finish it. So I don't know what needs finished. Like I haven't like gone exploring down there. I don't know. I can see it on my way to work though. That's why I think that's on my brain right now. Plus, like I was just interested to see what you guys thought about it. Because also like it's weird how much like a billion dollars, right? Let's just do this real quick. Let's do $1 billion. Let's look at all these zeros. Okay, because like my mentor Graham Stephan on YouTube, he's got like a net worth of like 10 million, right? So that's how much Graham Stephan's worth. We've got the 6 zeros and then 10 million, right? $10 million net worth. That would be a lot of money, right? Right? That would be a lot of money. A lot of money. To get to $1 billion, you need $999 million. 999 and all those zeros plus another million to get you to that billion. Like that's so much money. 1 and then 9 zeros. Like when I think about it being like 990, when I think about $1 billion being 999 million plus another million, so much money. Like, can you imagine just being able, and this is 1.5 billion. Billion with a B. So that would be $500 million just to get to the other $500 million. And you just walk away from that like it's your $5 canvas that you decided you weren't good at painting? Maybe they need a wife. I don't know. That's crazy, right? It's literally crazy. My eye twitched when I said $1 billion. Because it's so much money. That's so much money. At one point in time, I Googled, is $1 million a lot to a billionaire, right? And like, look how little a million looks in comparison to the 999 million. That would be, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. That would be like if I had $1,000 and I lost $1, right? Is my mathing there? So I'm sorry, but like, so $1 million isn't even a lot of money to a billionaire. That's crazy. Yeah, I can't go explore. Oh, that's a good idea, Rocky. Rocky, we should hang out one of these days. Maybe you want to help me film. I have a camera over here. I don't know how to use it. This is why. Also, I feel like, oh, a weirdo when I'm out with like my camera. Gotta figure out how to do that discreetly. All right, we were going to talk about how we got real sidetracked here. That's okay. Yeah, Heidi, $1 billion. It's a lot. It's crazy. Heidi, I'm curious what you think about that building. I like it. Look at the panda graffiti artist. Also, like, I do have some, this is like a different type of graffiti. He's not on there, but like, I have graffiti art. I sort of like that style. I like the colors. I can't ever read what they're trying to write. Okay. Let's talk about tax brackets for 2024 at the end of this so that we can show why the fast food the minimum wage isn't going to affect taxes for people as bad as you think. I just kicked a trash can. What is going on here? Okay. We'll go back to this page on the covered California real quick. And then we'll do that. And I know we're over time. So if you guys have to go, I understand. Also, who are you guys rooting for in the Super Bowl? Are you guys watching the Super Bowl? Don't bet money. Bet that, like, you know, if you want to bet to make the game interesting, bet something like whoever chooses the losing team has to clean up after the party. Something that doesn't involve money. Sorry, I need to write down my video ideas real quick. Okay, we're gonna maybe tour the graffiti building. Maybe my mom will come with me. She could be the lookout. Tour graffiti building and covered California increases. Okay. Maybe we'll do a separate one on these tax brackets also. Tax brackets. Okay. P.S. guys, my friend that stayed with me, I saw on his channel, he posted something that was like, switching apartments with a stranger. And there was one night like where I worked late and so we crossed each other's, I didn't see him at night and I was like, dang it, did he just let a stranger stay in my house? And I didn't know it, but he didn't. Anyway, hi Andrew. Oh, they posted drone footage. Here's where like technology gets interesting to me because like I would love to know how to fly a drone, but like I just don't. Also, I feel like it's really close to the crypto.com arena. So I feel like that there's like security probably or something around there where they would do that. Andrew's taking his mom out for a divine breakfast called the Breakfast Republic. Do they have that in LA? I'm not sure if they have the Breakfast Republic in LA, but during 2019, when I spent a lot of time I actually feel like maybe I did see the breakfast. We're going to look now, Andrew. I like brunch with my mom, but like a lot of times we're hungry. The Breakfast Republic. They have them in San Diego for sure. Oh, no, we got one. We have one in West Hollywood, it says. I'm hungry, as a matter of fact. But also, then when I do that, the Rudy Tooty Fresh and Fruity thing comes up. All right. Oh, no, and there's one 2.2 miles from me. So, yeah, I guess we have them all over. What did I get? I went there for sure in San Diego. Brunch is the best. My mom and I went to one called Madres in Whittier, and that was really good. Maybe I just need to make little shorts with my mom. We're getting sidetracked. 2024 tax brackets. All right, 2024 tax brackets. Okay, now I erased it, but it was like 41,000 versus 32,000, right? So for the minimum wage, and is what we're circling back to for anybody that's just popping in and out is we're looking at the difference in the minimum wage, how that could potentially affect for the fast food minimum wage, how that's going to affect someone's taxes. So in 2023, someone working full-time in the fast food industry, full-time at $15.50. 15.5 times 40 times 52. What? That's not right. 40 times 15.5 times 52. They would have made $32,240 in 2024. 20 times 40, that equals 800 times 52 equals, this year they're going to make 41,600. Okay, so first of all, you're going to have your standard deduction. Where does it put that? I feel like I don't like this. Okay, that's the official IRS, but I don't like the way it's giving that information. Okay, this is fine. Let's see if that pulls it up. Okay, this is what I want. And I'm going to do it using a single person because that is, hi, Alex. Me too, Alex, just because they're, local. Pinky says their ex-husband has a drone. He flew it on a windy day when he shouldn't have and crashed into a canal. He couldn't get out. He only had it for a month. Okay. So now I don't know how clear this is for you guys to see, but first of all, there's the standard deduction. So I need to open another tab really quick. Standard deduction 2024. That's what I'm going to take. I don't itemize. Okay. It's been raised to 14,600. So minus 14,600. So that means, so if you made 41,600, you don't have to pay taxes on 14,600 of it. That's the standard deduction. Everybody gets to take that. So 41,600, unless you itemize. And to make it worth itemizing, you need to be able to claim more than that in itemization. So this would be $27,000. Now, based on the deductions. So on the first, $0 to 11,600, you'd pay 10%. So you have to take 27,000 minus 11,600 minus 11,600 equals 15,400. So then you would pay 12% on that. Okay, so 10%. So basically that still keeps you in that basically once you go over the $11,600, that's when it changes, right? And so the 32,000 and the 41,600, that's in the same 12% category for single people. So it's not going to affect the percentage of taxes that you pay very much. Does that make sense? Doesn't affect the percentage of taxes that you're paying. And P.S., let's just do the math. 11,600 times 0.1 equals, that would be $1,160, and then 15,400 times 0.12 equals $1,848. So the total tax this person would be paying, federal tax, is $3,008. So mostly they're going to be in that 12% tax range. I'm going to remove that real quick so that you guys can see that. So their total federal tax would be $3,008 on a $41,000 income. So we started with $41,600 for someone's total income in 2024, working 40-hour work weeks at the $20 an hour fast food wage. We took away $14,600 for the standard deduction, which leaves us with $27,000 that would be taxable. Also, I should say that if you're paying for health insurance, that comes out of pre-tax dollars, but we didn't take that into the equation. So we're just going straight off of 40-hour work week at $20 fast food minimum wage minus your standard deduction, 14,600. That's what it is in the year 2024. Leaves you with $27,000. The first $11,600 would be taxed at 10%, so $1,160, and that remaining $15,400 would be taxed at 12%. So that's $1,848 for a total federal tax. There's still state taxes and FICA and Social Security and all that fun stuff, but federal taxes would be $3,008. Now there are ways to get that down, like contributing like to your medical plan, to contributing to a 401k plan. Those kinds of things can help. But that's where we're at just on those numbers. I think I also, I know we're going a little over today, but I want to try and find that article. Let's first Google will Dunkin' Donuts have to pay the $20 fast food minimum wage? I'm just curious if Dunkin' Donuts counts. Okay, we read the article about how the let's just Google which restaurants and see if it gives me a complete list. Which restaurants will have to pay? Okay, California-based fast food workers with 60 or more locations around the nation. But does Dunkin' Donuts count? That's what we're trying to figure out. And then also, okay, didn't quickly tell me how $20 fast food minimum wage. There was an article, that's from December. Let's tools. We're going to look within the last week on this. All right, let's look at this article because it's from 5 days ago. And this will be that last article that I read before we head out and we watch the Super Bowl. All right. Alex says, so when they pay fast food workers $20 an hour, what about Uber and DoorDash? No raise? I expect none. So more pay cuts. That is also like a really good point because I have a feeling that people are going to have less money to tip with. Oh, it's so annoying. Okay. People in California will soon be paying more for Chipotle, McDonald's, and other fast food. And then here, of course, a woman ordering on a digital screen. That's interesting. I can't tell what fast food restaurant that is. I'm going to take a sip of coffee before I read this. If you guys would like the video, it would mean a lot to me. All right. Here's the highlights. California minimum wage for fast food workers is set to increase to $20 per hour in April. Many fast food chains plan to raise menu item prices to compensate for the extra labor cost, and McDonald's predicts that the increase will contribute to wage inflation. And also the article, this is not the article that I was reading yesterday, but the article that I was reading yesterday seemed to say that like this is an experiment and if it goes badly, they might try and reverse the decision. So I wouldn't be surprised if at some point that happens. Like if people have like way less jobs and things like that, like if they start laying people off in the fast food industry, I think it could have a different effect. Okay. If you live in California, your go-to fast food order is likely going to get more expensive. That's because minimum wage is set to increase in April for fast food workers in California, thanks to a deal negotiated by labor unions and the restaurant industry back in October. To compensate for the extra cost of labor, restaurants like McDonald's, Chipotle, and Jack in the Box plan to raise menu prices at their California stores. The new pay rates marks a 25% increase from the statewide $16 minimum. Restaurants qualify for the increase if they have 60 or more locations around the country. In an earnings call in October, McDonald's CEO Chris Kempczynski said that the menu prices would increase in California, but didn't say which items or by how much. Kempczynski said on the call that the company would be using the wage increase as an opportunity to gain on its competitors. McDonald's has already raised menu prices by 20% over the last 2 years, and it started to lose some low-income customers as a result. Pricing may vary and remains at the discretion of each individual franchise. The new wage requirement is estimated to cost an extra the new wage requirement is estimated to cost an extra $250,000 annually per restaurant. So that's $250,000. Like, how many companies do you know that have an extra $250,000 in their budget? Yeah, and then Rocky's saying, like, smaller places, the fast food places that don't go to 20 will hurt to get employees, maybe even closing up. Yeah, like, that's something that I worry about at the movie theater. And it definitely makes working fast food more appealing, or maybe before it wasn't. Okay. The new wage requirement is estimated to cost an extra $250,000 annually per restaurant. And keep in mind, I don't know. I want workers to have a living wage, but I don't want people to lose jobs, right? Which is what my concern is with this, is that it's actually going to create less jobs. It's going to be good, hopefully, for the people that continue working at McDonald's. But if they cut jobs and make the people working there do more, is that really a benefit? Maybe one person has a better opportunity to pay their bills, but then person two doesn't have a job at all. And I don't think that's the right decision. So I want employees to make more. But if the company can no longer afford the employees that they need, I don't like that either. So what I'm about to say is going to sound like I'm sympathizing with the companies, but ultimately these businesses need to stay open in order for them to give jobs to the employees. Okay, so we're talking about $250,000 more annually per restaurant just due to the minimum wage increases. But then we also read that utilities are going up by 13%, and utilities are really high at restaurants also. Plus, gas goes up, building rent oftentimes goes up. The cost of the burger patties, the pickles, the buns, the containers, and the silverware that you put into those things. Insurance cost, for the employees that are getting insurance, we just read that those costs are going up in some places as much as 15%. Usually if it's an employee-sponsored plan, oftentimes it goes up not just for the employee, but also for the company as well. So we've got insurance costs rising. We've got utilities rising. We've got the cost of goods rising. All of these things are rising. At what point is the business able to continue? Or at what point do they have to say, you know what, we're just not making it and we do need to close up shop? That's what I'm worried about. And then that's going to have the opposite effect. If there's just less jobs overall, I don't see how that's good for the economy, unfortunately. Okay. So the new wage requirement is estimated to cost an extra $250,000 annually per restaurant, according to the National Owners Association, a group that represents over 1,000 McDonald's franchisees, the Wall Street Journal reported. McDonald's currently has 1,224 locations in California, which makes up about 9% of its restaurants in the U.S. In McDonald's latest earnings call on Monday, Kempczynski predicted that wage inflation would enter the mid to high single-digit wage range, in part due to the impact of the wage increase in California. Chipotle similarly announced that it will also be raising prices by 5% to 9% to cover the new pay requirement, according to Wall Street Journal. This will be the 5th time the company has raised menu prices in the last 2 years. Also, guys, I'm going to say that for the most part, unless you're ordering like a chalk board for your menu board, every time these companies have to reprint their menu boards, like that increases their cost also. It's not free to just change the menu board. So 5 times they've had to change the menu boards, the display, and that's not cheap either. So there's a cost for that. The last increase was in October 23, in which the price for protein items rose by 30 cents at one location. Chipotle has about 476 restaurants in California, and that's 14% of its national locations. Prior to that, Chipotle raised prices in August of 2022, leading customers at some locations to pay $1 or more extra for menu items. While 30 cents or $1 may not sound like a lot on its own, Jeff Hanscom, vice president of the International Franchisee Association, told Business Insider that many customers look to these restaurants as a source of affordable food. By rising prices, these brands risk pushing their customers away, as well as potential franchise owners who want to open restaurants in the state. Raising menu prices is just one method for restaurants looking to cut costs amid higher wages. Pizza Hut cut its in-house delivery program, eliminating 12,000 delivery workers to prepare for the pay increase. Other franchises in California, like Fatburger, have implemented hiring freezes and cut employee hours. Ultimately, what you're left with is less affordable food, less options, and less jobs. Yeah, I'm going to agree with their thought process on that. And that I don't think is the goal. So ultimately, I feel like the unintentional consequence is that it's not going to be good for lower wage workers. I also worry when there's hiring freezes like this, right? And I can tell you, we just fully staffed up at the movie theater. We just started serving full liquor, so we added some bartending shifts. We're expanding our food, but we're not considered a fast food chain. And we're staffed up right now. Like, we don't need any more people. And then you're going to have people like me who might be wanting extra income. And now I'm like, well, I like Taco Bell, and maybe that could fit around the hours of my existing job. Like, it's something that I would consider. But at the same time, like, so fast food, movie theaters, retail locations like CVS or like the mall, but there's not really the mall anymore. When's the last time you guys went to the mall? I haven't been to a mall in ages. Technically, I guess I bought my washer dryer from the mall because there was a Best Buy in a mall and I was passing the Best Buy. But I knew I was going to Best Buy and I knew I was going to get a washer dryer. So I went in, got the washer dryer, turned right back around and left. I don't think I looked at anything. I didn't go into any stores. That's not true. I needed work pants, and I've been tired of buying my work pants from Amazon, and I'm chunky, so I had to go to like Lane Bryant to get my stuff, and I wanted to try it on. But like the entry-level jobs, if people aren't going to these stores as much, then like what happens to the entry-level jobs? I'm like as good at math as I am. And this isn't an insult to anybody. What I was just doing is kind of like addition and subtraction. Like, to do like computer programming, you need really high levels of math. To be like a nurse or doctor, like you need really high levels of schooling. What happens when there's not enough entry-level jobs for people that need them? What happens if a worker like me gets laid off. Um, because my skills are with customer service and the people, but if there's not openings in that field, what happens? All right. I'm going to leave you guys with that. Um, we'll see about doing a tour of that downtown LA building, try and figure out like exactly how vacant it is. I bet they've increased security around it at this point, which might be why someone had to go in with the drone footage. But I'm curious, maybe we'll do like a little short on that. There are some things that I would love to talk with you guys about. Rocky, like you mentioned, I am already feeling overcommitted with my regular job, so I'm not sure, but I do want to attract a new audience. So guys, tell your friends if they want to talk about finance, budget, the economy, things like that, this new minimum wage. Tell them to hop on Shelly's Millions live on Sundays at 11 a.m. I'm going to see you next week. Thanks for watching.